All right, everybody, part 3 of our interviews here at The Hangar, and I'm very happy to be joined by Nick Cox. Hello, mate.
Hello, mate. Thank you for having me here.
It's good to see you, mate. Good to see you. How are you feeling ahead of what is going to be your 4th season of footy?
Yeah, it's weird to say that, actually. It's flying pretty quickly, but very exciting. It's the first real crack at a pre-season I've had in, I guess, since I got drafted, essentially. So it's been nice to get a good power of work in, and looking forward to hopefully cementing a spot.
Talk me through your injury troubles, because you've had a lot, let's be honest.
Yeah.
How does it affect your mental state? Because I know for myself, if I do something really minor and I'm injured for a couple of days, I'm filthy. I'm in a shit mood. How do you handle that, knowing that you can't actually get out there and play?
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously frustrating. There's no doubt about that, and anyone's going to feel the same way. But it's just sort of, I guess, doing your best to turn that into a positive. And which, the first time I got injured in my second year, I don't think I was as well equipped with, what I need to know to really better myself for that period. And I learned a lot last year in 2023 when I had a stressy in my back. And I had Zach Reed with me and Jonesy, and it was good being able to bounce off each other and learn a lot during that period, actually. Obviously, you don't want to miss footy, but at the same time, I'm sort of grateful that it did happen because I did learn a lot. And I feel like I was able to, better myself and learn all the things it takes to be able to, back up playing AFL every single week, because it's not easy.
Very demanding. Have you changed much in your day-to-day life, or just how you, prepare, how you recover? Has it much changed to prevent these things from happening again?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you obviously have your gym and everything, but the amount of injury prevention stuff that we do, the constant checking in with physios, there's hours put into it every week of just setting up my body to train well, and not only that, but also fueling your body really well, everything. I've learnt so much, so need to just keep evolving. Obviously still not perfect, keep getting better, and hopefully take that in my stride for the rest of my career.
What are your personal goals for 2024, if you're going to write them down on a sheet of paper before round 1? What are your goals for the year?
Yeah, I think initially I'm trying not to look too far ahead, which I found I've done in the past quite a lot, and you can sort of get lost in that space where you're not really focusing on one little thing that you need to be doing. You can sort of, lose your focus. So, I mean, firstly, it's getting to that team round 1 and playing round 1. But I suppose I want to play the whole year. I want to have a whole consistent year of footy, not just, in and out. I want to be, one of the first pick. That's my goal. And obviously staying healthy and just having a really good run at it.
If you were playing round 1, where do you think you would be playing position-wise?
It is a tough one. I would hope either across halfback or the wing still.
Yep.
I feel like I've got still an advantage on the wing, being my size. Often you come across opponents quite small than me. I think that can be a great advantage. But I've also spent a lot of time down back the whole pre-season. And starting to feel very comfortable down there. So I spent a lot of my juniors, so it is fairly natural.
Yep.
So, but no, it's good. I'm really enjoying it.
Is there a spot you prefer over the other if you had your pick? And although the coaches would never do it, if they said, Nick, where do you want to play this week, what would you choose?
I think it would be halfback.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Back. I don't mind that. There's plenty of new faces around the club, obviously debutants and then also the players who've come from other clubs. Who's impressing you the most?
Geez, they've all been pretty good so far. I mean, obviously you've seen Caddy, what he can do, taking some fairly exciting marks so far. I've had to play on him a few times, and he's not easy to play on, that's for sure. He's very quick, he's very versatile, he can hit up on you, you can sit on your head, so he's been very exciting so far. And then obviously the more experienced boys, we're starting to get a look at Xavier Dersma now, who was a bit interrupted for a bit, but he's moving really well on the wing. Gresham's a little nippy one. I've had to play on him in the past, and he's a nightmare to play on, so he's working up and down the field. He's been brilliant. And Big Benny's just... He's a big boy.
He's just sitting down there being interviewed right next to us, and he is a big boy.
He is massive, and he's...
Has he taught you much about how to get the biceps and tries looking as big as those?
He's trying to, but it might take me a bit of time to get that big, that's for sure. But no, he's been great. He's been a real presence down there. He's really physical. He's really setting the tone. he's been great down there. But to be honest, everyone that's come in's bought into what we're trying to do here, and it's really exciting to see that happen.
Back to yourself. If you're to crack the team, what are the sort of KPIs that you need to be hitting, whether it's week to week or throughout the season, to make sure that you're a regular player in the side? What have the coaches said to you? This is what you need to be doing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not too focused on like stats or how much. Obviously, you want to get more of the footy and have an impact on the game, but it's sort of just playing my role to the best of my ability and what is asked of me. If I can do that consistently each week, then I think the rest takes care of itself. I'm not too fussed about what the actual numbers are, but just making sure I've got those behaviours in place that is required of me.
What are the specific things that you've worked on for your game over the pre-season? I've chatted to a few guys who've said it's about transitional work. Others it's been kicking focus. What's been the thing for you?
I think it's probably two things. I mean, one falls under a lot is sort of my footwork and my craft, and understanding what my strengths are. Obviously, I'm not necessarily a lighter, but there's obviously some big key forwards in the league, and they're very strong. So what's my advantage? And my advantage is my athleticism and I guess my length, and using that to my advantage instead of trying to outdo them in their strength. And I've learned a lot through that, and so much on footwork, readjusting every time because you're constantly moving, and with that is reaction time. I think that's a massive part of my game that I need to improve, is just being quicker to react, and that's when you can put yourself in a better position all the time. So they've been the two things I've been working on the most, and starting to see glimpses of it coming out, which is great.
Do you think you could ever end up being a key position player one day? Because, the average person who just looks at the numbers would say he's a young guy, 200 centimetres tall, he will be a key forward or a key back or a ruckman at some point in his career. Do you ever see that eventuating later down the line?
Yeah, certainly. I think that's definitely my goal down the track. But at the same time, I still want to keep my weapons in terms of my running power. That's a massive thing for me. But you can still do that and be a key position player. So I mean, I've put on, since I got drafted, about just over 20 kilos. So
that's pretty good.
Yeah, it's just.
What are you at now, if you don't mind me asking?
About 96, 97. Okay. I sort of float between, depending on water and stuff. But
is there a goal weight that you'd think you'd like to get to?
I think it's around that 100 kilo mark, maybe a little bit lighter. And just continually getting stronger. I'm not too, I guess, worried about mass, but just getting stronger, and that's going to put me in good stead. Yeah.
And just big bars and tries like Benny. That's all you want.
Yeah, that's what I want. Yeah.
Big bars.
That'd be a nice addition.
Yeah. Brad Scott, he's second year at the helm of the club. You had played under a previous coach prior. How does Brad Scott work for you as an influencer?
He's awesome. He's extremely positive, but honest as well at the same time, and direct to you in what you need to improve on. He's been great. I've sort of lost a lot of confidence in my sort of second and third year. Started my third year, and obviously you spend a lot of time out of the game, and you miss pre-seasons, and that's where you get a lot of your confidence that you've done all that work. So he's been good at just reassuring that I'm more than capable, and just giving me that confidence back to just go and play freely. I feel like I started getting a bit hesitant with my footy, and he's given me confidence to just play footy, and that's been massive for me.
Have you been doing much work with Dr. Ben Robbins? I know he's come in to help work on wellness and psychology and headspace and all that things. And Hindy was talking a bit about him before when I spoke to him. Do you do much with him?
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of focus on it's a major part of our game. I mean, there's so many things going on. There's so many distractions. I don't think there's another sport in the world like it where you're just getting hit from every angle. There's so many things you need to do, and you're always thinking. So the more we can be, connected not only with each other but yourself, I think the better we're going to be, and that'll keep us aligned to what we're all trying to do in games. Because it's easy to get distracted. Things go wrong, things go against you. So I've been doing a lot of work on just how we can bring ourselves back to where we need to be to perform.
Your first year, you really, exploded onto the scene. Obviously got yourself the nickname the Unicorn, which was a bit of fun. I'm sure you enjoyed that one. Do you when you get injured and you lose a bit of form, how do you feel looking back and going, this is what I once did? Do you have to constantly remind yourself being no, I'm that good. I know I can do it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think for sure. I mean, I did it. You think at times when things aren't going that well, and you think, oh, am I up to it? But yeah, I feel like I've shown that I can do it, and I compare myself to back then, and I've got such a large amount of knowledge of the game compared to then. I'm bigger. I feel like I'm more powerful than I was then. I know so much more, so I feel like I'm definitely better than I was then. I think the thing was, in my first year, I was just, as I touched on earlier, I was just playing so freely.
Yep.
I was just going out and playing footy,
Yep.
and that's what I want to get back to. Just going out there and literally just having fun. I feel like that's when I'm playing my best.
Do you think you might overthink it at times? Like there's been times I've watched you play where you'll take a really good mark and then it seems like you spend 10, 15 seconds to try and decide what you're actually going to do with it.
Yeah.
Whereas maybe in that first season you were just like, I'm just going to go and not really think about it.
Yeah. No, totally. I think, as I said, but like in my second year especially, I sort of lost that confidence, and as I was hesitating, as you touched on, and I can put in decision in your mind, and that's what creates that lag, and trying to get away from that and just going back to what I did best in my younger years, and just playing, taking what the game gives me and being quick with it.
Do you find you have more clarity in the game and your role? Often we hear in the footy media about how a coach will come in and it's like, oh, everyone was confused and now it makes sense and it's simple. Is that sort of how you feel now?
In terms of
just sort of the messaging from the coaching group.
I feel like I know so much more than I did previously. Having that knowledge gives you a lot more confidence as well when you know what you need to do. And especially when you don't know exactly what's required, how you're trying to move the ball and everything, that's when you can get indecisive and be hesitant. So, through that whole period of being injured as well, there's been a lot of time with coaches wrapping my head around everything. So I feel like I know what I need to know. Obviously, I need to keep doubling down on it and become an expert. But yeah, it definitely improves so much.
Are there any players around the competition or even in past years before you played, you sort of look at and go, that's someone I think I'm similar to and might want to model my game on? You are obviously, a bit of an enigma yourself, but is there anyone around the league that you go, there's a guy that I'd like to try and emulate a bit?
I think in my young years, it was always Marcus Bontempelli, bit of like a taller midfielder. That was what I always looked at in my younger years, but I feel like it's sort of transitioned to like a Mark Blitzars.
Yep.
What he does, he's a taller man, obviously, who can run very well, and as you've seen, he's played every position on the ground and played it really well. And I want that to be a weapon of mine that I can be put anywhere at any stage of the game and actually play well, not just sort of there to fill a hole, go and excel. So that's someone that Blake Carosella especially is said a lot to me, that's who I should model off, and I 100% agree.
Have you ever spoken much with him? Obviously it's hard when he plays another club, but have you had any words to him?
No, I haven't, no.
Okay.
No.
Oh, maybe when he retires, it could be soon. I mean, he's probably getting on and I'll blitz us, but maybe give him a call.
That might be a good idea.
Nick, we'll wrap up with some rapid fire questions for you, mate.
Yep.
Favourite interstate ground?
Or Optus Stadium.
Favourite player when you were a kid?
Marcus Bontempelli.
International athlete you admire the most?
Mohamed Salah.
Very good call. Best person to be seated next to at an interstate trip?
Definitely not Drapes. I'll go with someone simple like Parrish.
Yeah, you might want to say that too loud. He's standing right behind you.
That's all right. I'll let him know. I'll tell it to him straight.
Yeah. Worst person to be seated next to an interstate trip?
Drapes or Durham. Yeah,
drop punt or talk?
Drop punt.
And if you could change one rule in the AFL, what would it be?
Probably the stand rule, to be honest.
Yeah.
I feel like it causes a lot of... it's hard for the umpires to interpret it very well, and I think it gets a bit sticky.
Have you been caught out by that a couple of times?
I've never copped a 50 from it, but a couple of times where you've gone to get off the mark and they say, no, you got to stand. It's a bit confusing at times.
Goes against your instinct, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. What you've been doing your whole life. So I'd say that one.
Okay, interesting. Because, Hindy said he wanted to get rid of the bounce, which made sense for him. And Lev said I'd like to be able to push people in the back, which also makes sense for him. But, I was like, I can't really think of you giving away a 50 for that. So that works so well. You said Mohamed Salah's international athlete you admire. You're a big Liverpool fan?
Massive Liverpool fan,
I'm an Arsenal fan, mate, so sorry about that.
No, but we're still top of the league, so I'll take that.
Yeah, it's going to be a tight race home. Nick, very generous with your time. Best of luck. Fingers crossed you're cracking the side for round 1 and you have a good solid season. Stay out of the rehab group. So thanks for coming by.
Thank you so much for having me. Been awesome.